All right, had to get the recording part of the Ustream started. We have a whole whopping 2 people watching now. Hello. All right, again, this is the First Friday Poetry Spectacular coming to you live from Karma Cafe in Canton, Ohio. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for tonight's featured poet, the one, the only, Mark S. Kuhar.
Thank you. I'm short. We have to lower this down. I'm short and I'm short and my voice is weak. I come bearing gifts. Come bearing gifts. Everyone must have gifts before we read. Gifts for everyone. Gifts for everyone. Except these guys, they already have all these gifts. They've received these gifts before. So you guys are all gifts. No, sorry, I'm back. Okay, now that the gifts have been passed out. Thank you very much for this opportunity to read. I don't get out to read as much as I would like to. However, I welcome this opportunity, and I certainly want to thank VX for Universe Gone Dancing, which is a piece that I'm not sure that I even wrote. I think this was channeled in from numerous universes at various different times and kind of all pieced together, and it's all kind of a cosmic phenomenon. So nothing I can do about it. Sometimes you don't write things kind of appear, and you just are the transcriber. So this is kind of one of those opportunities. So we're going to start by reading some pieces from Universe Gone Dancing, and then I'd like to read a couple of things from another book that I came out with last year called Mercury in Retrograde, and then we'll come back and finish with the signature piece, Universe Gone Dancing, from this book. So we're going to start with piece 8 from Phases of the Moon, because right now we're in waning crescent, and I think we should start with where we are. So this is number 8, waning crescent. Here in our response state, the moment of needing, the size of time when we take back the pleading, offer up the wanting, cut loose things no longer important. Moon appears in part, less than one half, illuminated by direct sunlight, fraction of the moon's disk illuminated, decreasing. I am mindful moon. My eyes are open, my eyes are slits of misery, my eyes are closed in meditation. I am the mindful moon, me. The 8 faces of our beginning, you, the place that can never end. Now we're going to move into Eclipse of the Sun. This is the first part of that, part 1, First Contact. Touch me as the moon touches the sun, passing before it a thin curve of a touch. The naked eye, invisible, meandering, a sort of plate tectonics. The grand meeting of my vision and yours beneath these pallid omens of ovals, these wisps of our brief remembrance, tempest and remains. This will not go fast. Heat encircled by black and polished grinding, the fragments of our light diminishing in mutual exaggeration. Your sun is waterfall light, blinded by calculation. My moon, the two of us, in the first refrains of our merging, this anticipation, our fresh buttercup trajectories. In place, an angel's hip, the mighty elbow of Zeus. 2, Second Contact. You in front of me behind you, the core invisible to the eye, unavailable to the touch, completely covered, hidden from view, mysteries of Titanic dual belonging. Your photosphere shines through these long lunar valleys. Bailey's beads, the last sliver of sun, breaks up into chains of luminous pearls. Corona of frozen motion, the dark side of the moon, the bright side of the moon, no side of the moon, full eclipse of our union, a coronation, our diamond ring jewels, incense and light, crimson-covered solar halo of instinctive darkness. We greet this fused and holy, clinging our spectacle of repose. Penumbra, 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 the call that roars upon the grooved ears of mythic day. 3, third contact. When I emerge from the dark of you, from the basement of your radiance, the attic of trunk-filled memory garden imaginings, the way your sideways smile evolves, a cure of nature, the spectacle of unwinding, a fleet path of mercurial vapor that builds and streaks upon leather and blue light, formaldehyde and turpentine, chemical elements in structures and formulas, lime and sulfur receptions, things we retain when daylight comes calling again. Each sliver and harsh yellow patch of skin opens up a tornado of sunspots and acrid heat, the burn of your meeting. When we pass in silence. The loud rhythms of our mechanisms unfolding in its own romantic percussion. We are leaving each other now. We are never apart. We are never alone. No one is lost, and everything always remains emerging, intact for me. Part 4, fourth contact. Above the photosphere, where gases are cooler, more rarefied, I give off a spectrum that reeks of your light, our chemical elements, mingled sweet vapors, fat bolts of hydrogen, this thin layer, this upper atmosphere of the sun, the remote ventricle of the mad moon, parallel, twins, the eyes, dual of particulate matter. When I move away from you, we remain in union, telepathic, retrenching, what everyone calls normal. I know you as the great becoming, walls of matter that orbit like comet breath, like buttonholes upon an asteroid shirt. Together we dream the cosmic marathon, eclipse our path of truncated steps, rewalked again. The youth of critical mass, objects that crease across dark, passionless skies, pass like ships upon these foggy, dark wavelengths. You are the yellow feather of the heavens. I am full cyclops, ancestor of bubble opals, free reign aligned. Thank you. What the heck was that about? Whoa, hello. Geez, where did that come from? Okay, we'll come back and read the Universe Gone Dancing piece. I'm going to switch for a little bit to Mercury in retrograde, which is a totally different kind of poetry. These are really more encapsulated stories. Kind of each poem is kind of a super ultra condensed short story. So a totally different style, but I'd like to read a couple of these as well. This is called Smoking in 1969. It was the way you pushed in the car's dashboard cigarette lighter, with one hand on the wheel and your eyes on the road, then the effortless retrieval of a pack of old golds, shaking a smoke out into your fingers in one swoop, popping the filter between your teeth, just in time as the cigarette lighter popped out, a red circular glow that you touched to the cold tip, then ignition, the crackle of tobacco and the smell of the sweet leaf, returning the lighter to its dashboard hole, smoke streaming from the window of the Buick as the radio played Jefferson Airplane, 120 miles per hour, all the way to your death. This is called Into the World. The baby was born in between the things she did for love, like bringing in the newspaper, filling up the car with gas, bagging her own groceries. It's one of those nights when the phone has fallen silent and the ripple of the TV screen projects a life unlike any life she knows. The crickets rub elbows out in the backyard when the baby cries. She has no idea which way you go to get back into the world. Miles was talking earlier about a band he's in where it kind of features the accordion, so I'm going to read this poem called Dominic's Accordion. It's hard to speak over the clamor of music, so instead we watch the men in the band. Doc bangs the drums, old cymbals crashing. Art finger picks a banjo while Jimmy noodles on the clarinet. But it's Dominic's accordion that is the focal point. He closes his eyes and teases the bellows open and closed, playing with finger buttons, a chromatic jam that recalls outdoor cafes and glasses of red wine. The sound of another world on a street with a sweet name, timeless and surreal as our unspoken words. Sidewalk Serenade. When I walk 2 blocks to the old Lawson store and the sidewalk cracks beneath my weight, and the empty lot where the dry cleaners burned is filled with broken glass and wet copies of the Cleveland Press, when I look into the vaulted sky in this kingdom of bridges and everything I say is a word from a ventriloquist, when seagulls patrol the roof of the deli seeking breadcrumbs in silence, and at the West 25th Street Cafe, the remnant of my sorrow is lined up on the bar like trash cans and shovels. I am home, sweet baby. Please welcome me home. This poem is for anyone who's ever owned a beater car. It's called He, the 4 O'Clock Pig. King Ringo buries his head beneath the hood of a '78 Ford at a wrecking yard on 130th and Bel Air. Grinds a wrench with greasy hands, grunting like a 4 o'clock pig. He resurrects a carburetor, a hose, various and sundry wires and fittings. He hears the distant thump, 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 thump of bass blasting from a Chevy streaking past, some kind of rap or hip-hop that he doesn't understand. The sweat that falls from beneath his hat is the same sad beat. Gravel on the path as he limps past, a hint of tar and limestone. Piecing a car back together is a kind of art practiced in this sad town. Gasoline like acrylic paint, pilfered parts like Vincent van Gogh's lacerated ear. This is called Resurrection Spring Day, like this one. On a resurrection spring day much like this one, hot, heavy, pregnant with possibilities, no limits, I sat with you outside a red brick building. We talked about the way Susie let herself get trapped, how all of the places we finally end up aren't the places we set out for. Why the bagel shop was closing. Who would show up to unlock the door of the Camaro across the street? We made up silly fantasy conversations between the people who hurried past, but most of all, we stared at each other with the kind of longing only made worse by the fact that in an hour, you would go your way, and I would go mine, and there was nothing either of us could do to change it. Back then, no one had a VCR or cell phone. Each of your words were butterscotch, and I wished I could kiss you just for the sound it made. There's another kind of sort of love poem, in part. Preoccupied with the nuisance of love. This love you feel is just a nuisance, you tell me. Pesters you on mornings when you'd rather sleep in. Whispers in your ear, driving you bat crazy in Walmart down aisles of bad clothes. You buy packs of pink panties, a pair of earrings, plastic junk you don't really need. At work, in moments of confusion, you pulled outside for a quick cig, talk to some lady who you don't even know that well. Tell her your boyfriend is taking you to an art gallery opening, or maybe to Portugal or Philly. In moments when you pace the wood floor, wondering if he'll call, he calls. And you are annoyed. I don't have time for this, you tell me, fidgeting in your chair, trapped between the you that was, the you emerging against all your intuition, helpless to stop. (1970s) high school minutia number 24. She is out sick for the 5th straight day. There are rumors she has mono. Chris tells me she's at home laying on the couch watching The Days of Our Lives, listening to an ABBA record over and over. I can picture her curled up under a purple Afghan, her mom in the kitchen making chicken noodle soup. What does she think about when she closes her eyes with the snow falling this late in the year and the chalkboard with her name scribbled on it 57 times? Okay, one last one from Mercury in retrograde. What passes for love in Cleveland? Mornings with the door slammed in your face, the smell of burnt coffee, one more day watering the plants and taking out the trash. Best wishes coming in the guise of a card mailed from San Francisco. The shopping list calls for pork chops, butter, spaghetti, grapes, French bread, clothespins, and paper clips. I am watching you from a vantage point far beyond the snaking turns of River Road, 2 blocks over from where the first McDonald's was built in Cleveland. Back in the day when sunsets were violet, birds imitated the sounds of your friend laughing. I wonder about your choice of eyeshadow, where you go at night when you disappear up the sidewalk, heading in the general direction of no one really knows for sure. Thank you very much. We'll conclude here with a reading of the signature piece from the new book, The Universe is Dancing, One Cell in Replication. Now, here on the earth, the sun takes its deep dive, the moon trapped on a tortured axis. Earth, sun, moon, a fan belt of energy, a triumvirate of celestial activity, mutual power, structure, and interdependent. We are but one cell burst forth in replicable resonance, a mass vibration of cells that duplicate and divide, procreate, an epic cosmic drama. Oh, look all around you at the visible remains of this supernova explosion. The universe is dancing. Yes, the universe is dancing. Like hives and clusters of moons, bees upon magnificent flowers, gold dust and platinum particles enriching the youth of air. The free reign of delicate morsels embarking in earth pointillism upon the shivering decapitation of this sun's golden hours. The universe is dancing, and merciless triumph begat the realist, and a vague undertow begat the incident, and a certain relative begat the ice storm, and calm message begat the doom, and towering height begat the death, and staggered monolith begat the pure pages, and high Denver begat the rainbow, and long river begat the storm surge, and deepest Netherland begat the fragment, and green palm either begat the fuchsia, and calcium femur begat the medicine, and running paragraph begat the elephant, and spiked star shape begat the jurist, and lost Captain Canyon begat Sheila Brownstone, and marvelous Morgan Fisher begat the heaving keyboard, and quiet heaps of spaniels begat the doom dust, and courteous apes on Friday begat Roman treason, and vain literate nightshades begat a tide flow, and even opals begat your fine following, and gargantuan triangles rust begat dream youth, and this Friday's conglomerate begat a willow, and the sour sages like sawdust begat dislocation, and prime pristine notions begat real emergence, and your clear recollections begat my intentions. This timeline we follow, this lineage of diamond hollows and mass level vapors, I offer the questions that have no reply, the luminous questions you know from internal rhythms. The universe is dancing to questions. The universe is dancing out loud. What is the name of that feature? The prologue to overcoming that advances and retreats like the creatures of yearning in the side of the vested picture of our magnets of planets that remain when we carry away wisdom like a blue torch. My manic reply. The universe is dancing omens. How do you answer the fear of justice crawling in a disease that wears pearls and flowers, speaks 400 miles per hour, and dresses in oblong denial? Baskets that rain down like a binge, you hinder and forsake. The universe is dancing iron. Where is the lance trial, the invisible grotesque imitators that fry and desiccate? Birds in your burning mission that flake and stagnate before the floor. The universe is dancing whistles. Who brings the rare vital, trips and counterpoint, the eternal vision, and creates the form that brings the demise, bottles and nomads, crutches and the breaking of glass, a heart that beats its skin without your frantic aplomb. The universe is dancing peace. Where is your great freedoms, the electric and erotic, the justice and the phony load, blessed and cremated, hovering 3 feet under the neon blue grass? We welcome the coming of yonder oak caricature, your rare fleet, a face in between. The universe is dancing whispers. With what tribulation do you arrive, encased in silver, bedecked in gold, astride in emeralds, a glamorous wing, the Venus of your apprehension, heat and fever, lost and counted, vehicular traffic that I cake in stripes upon time? The universe is dancing in whispers, in eternal energy, screams, the fragrance of natural communication, in the velocity of replicable resonance. We are all one, moored in universal vibration, aligned in perfect circulation, beyond comprehension. Universe gone dancing in this manic cosmology. Back, back again, we remain. Thank you.
And for our now 3 people watching from home, if you'd like to pick up Universe Gone Dancing, you can get it from the boutique at poetshaven.com with free shipping. All right, time for the poetry slam. We only have 3 people signed up to compete. Anybody else want to sign up? Okay, we need at least 3 people to judge. Anybody want to volunteer to judge? Come on, that's the fun part. You get to be mean. Got all these people shaking their heads. No, come on.
Of course he does.
Let me get back on the mic.
You should keep track of these and then like have a Poets Haven Slam series and like a champion and stuff. I don't know.
Probably starting next month, this will be point qualifiers for Lake Effect's iWhip spot. So I just have to get a handle on getting our team to MPS before I can start thinking about the next big event. All right, we have 3 judges. Technically, you have 5 and you cut the highest and lowest scores, but three will work. Judges, you will give each performing poet a score of 0 to 10. 0 being the worst thing you have ever heard, 10 being mind-blowing. You want to give them all your money for copies of whatever they have on hand. You can use a decimal place. Please keep it to just 1 decimal, like a 7.5 or an 8.1. I'm an editor, not a mathematician, so scores of pi are not fun for me to figure out. I've had to do that before.
He doesn't like adding pi and pi or multiplying pi by pi either.
I mean, unless you're talking pie with a fork and a plate, but that's. Set your own criteria for judging the poets, and stick to it. Well, we only have three, so we're not exactly going to have major score creep, but there's a problem in some bigger slam events where the scores consistently creep higher and higher. Set your criteria and stick to it. And don't let the audience reaction sway you. Audience, do your best to sway the judges. So, all right. We need a sacrificial. Hold on one second. All right, our three performing poets are all regulars, so I don't think I need to go over the 3-minute rule, et cetera, et cetera. You all know the drill. Before we bring up the first competitor, we do what's called a sacrifice, which will be me. I'm not actually in the competition. However, judges, you're still going to score me like I am. Then when the other poets come up here and are better than me, you're going to give them a higher score. And if for some weird reason they're not better, you're going to give them a lower score. The sacrificial poet is also called the calibration poet. This is a true story. There's a standoff in the kitchen. The human is fixing sesame teriyaki noodles and meatballs. To his right, the dog. Meatball? I smell meatball. Give me meatball? I smell meatball. To his left, the cat. I do not care what you are making, but you will be giving it to me. I am waiting. If you do not give me what you are making, I will be forced to use my claws. The human reaches for the minced onion. The cat headbutts him in the kneecap and digs a claw into his ankle. The dog smells meatball and takes a step forward. The cat jumps off the human's foot and claws the dog's face. Both creatures land in their original positions and the standoff resumes. Cat, you aren't planning on eating that, are you? It will be mine. Dog, meatball? 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 The human removes the meatballs from the microwave and starts to drop them into the noodles. Meatball! The dog tries to knock the human over so the last meatball falls to the floor. The cat moves faster and knocks the falling beef sphere under the baby gate that keeps the dog out of the basement. The cat is certain to twitch her tail in the dog's face as she crawls under the gate to claim her prize. Taking note, the human removes 2 slices of American cheese from the refrigerator. As he opens the wrappers, the cat runs back into the kitchen, her meatball forgotten. Cheese is mine! Cheese is mine! Turns out the dog likes cheese too, and is delighted to wolf down both slices, sharing none with the cat. The human then transfers the noodles from the saucepan into a bowl, gets a pair of chopsticks from the drawer, and retires with his lunch to the computer room. All right, judges, put a score on the board and hold it up. It's kind of scary when the sacrificial gets that. All right. From low to high, the sacrificial poet has a score of 7, 7, and 10.
Nice.
That time delay on the broadcast was kind of fun. As I was stepping forward, I could hear myself screaming meatball. All right, before we bring up our first competitor of the evening, to take a moment to plug, in 2 weeks we will have Stardust Poetry right here at Karma Cafe. We will have featured poets Joshua Gage and John Burrows, both of whom will have new chapbooks available. Josh's feature is rescheduled. He was supposed to feature last month, but had a family thing come up, and it worked out anyway because we had some problems getting the book done. It'll finally be getting printed tomorrow. Long story, and I really don't want to go into it on a live broadcast. So his book, Inhuman, Haiku from the Zombie Apocalypse, and John's new book, It Takes More Than Chance to Make Change, will both be available at that show. All right, let's get tonight's competition started. Our first slammer of the evening, a man called Plush.
This is called Woman. For all the right reasons, I avoid girls like you because these days I'm more likely to go every which wrong way except for the right way with girls like you, because types like you are a whole different breed. You are woman. So I stay away like Lane Staley used to say, because while you're being woman, I'm still stuck being boy, and that's a killjoy. I don't want to need you around just to make you, only then to break you, cut you, bleed you my insecurity, shatter you with my frailty, push you down and out with my self-doubt. Trust and believe me when I say I don't need any help or anybody else's when I can do bad all by myself. Hell, I'll even say I do it well. And the last thing I want to do is drag you down to my hell, because let me tell you something. You're being woman, and you keep on being woman, while I try to stop being stuck boy.
All right, judges. All right. From low to high, we have a score of 6, 7, and 8. Give it up for the poet. Our next poet is Azrael Johnson.
This poem is for the people who have suffered in the recent environmental catastrophes, and including viruses of a sort. Rabid babies, a brain fever encephalizes and hallucinates. A magical realm of pure empathy explodes like waterworks on the wrong side of Monopoly. A virus permeates and perpetrates saliva-bound, bitten breakdowns. Only medical-induced comas can save them now. Vampire baseball bats strike and hit grand slams foul. Unsainted Bernards covered in foam and dust terrorize the station wagon unfaithful just a tad. Sleep now and let the virus go away. Imagine the incurring debt of karmic retribution, distribution, and share the cost amongst the lost. There's a war waging between wind and earth and fire and water, tornadoes, hurricanes, tsunamis, earthquakes, wildfires rage. The gods fight and the humans suffer. Who wins?
All right. From low to high, we have a score of 6, 8, and 9. Give it up for the poet. A man called Plush had a score of 21. Our next competitor is Skylark.
Fuck the saints among us. To hell with the heaven bound. The do-gooders swathing themselves in our guilt. Why can't they leave well enough alone? There aren't enough overachievers to significantly change anything. So all they really do is make the rest of us look bad. It's just bullshit. The nuns with their chosen poverty, the inner city teachers' hopeful idealism, clergy visiting sick people, volunteers making food, tutoring, organizing donations, driving people to appointments, and campaigning for rights. Service workers getting in the way. We can't turn a corner without self-styled heroes showering us with regret. These saintly brethren are downers. They won't let us enjoy vacation or payday. Even evenings and weekends are on their radar. They take all the fun out of being selfish. Hedonism and greed are excellent virtues, but these role models taint them as vices. Some say, we need these goody two-shoes so the world won't sink into the shitter. Have they not noticed the world is already in the shitter? They should take their two good shoes, pull up their bootstraps, and walk all over each other. Think outside the soapbox. Let's relish our material consumerism madness. Show us no pictures of sweatshops. Tell us of no deplorable conditions in need of change. But the children, la 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 la. But the elderly, la la la. But the sick, but the dying. I don't want to hear this. Shut up. It'll go away. Maybe they'll go on spouting love, justice, and peace with every sandwich for the hungry and bandage for the bleeding. Maybe they'll always be underfoot, persistent until the end of time. If we can't beat them back, we might have to join them.
So what happened to the whole, so I don't have to worry about a time penalty thing then?
Because I actually decided to do a different poem than what I was originally thinking of doing.
All right. From low to high, we have a 7, a 7, and an 8. Give it up for Skylark. Azrael had a score of 23. Skylark has a score of 22. That means that means June's First Friday Poetry Spectacular Slam winner is Azrael Johnson. Okay, I wish that would have been picked up on the camera. He totally just did a Street Fighter victory move. All right. Thank you, everyone, for coming out tonight. Have a wonderful evening. We'll see you here next month. Hopefully, we'll see you here in 2 weeks for Stardust.